problem is, he's not even a citizen. So he can't own a firearm legally in our country, but he's being given a firearm by the state of Illinois as a police officer in the state. And apparently all you have to have is work authorization in this state. That is insane.
So guess what? ICE arrested a cop. Turns out the cop is an illegal immigrant. Here's a news report. You ready for this?
Let's do breaking news now. Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement has just revealed in the last short time a police officer working in Illinois is an illegal immigrant. Radule Bojovic works for the Hanover Police Department. He graduated from the academy in August, but he has been living in the U.S. illegally for a decade after his tourist visa expired in 2015. His illegal status was discovered as part of Operation Midway. So we wanted to bring you the very latest on that.
His name is Bojovic. So I don't know. I say we ship him home so he can help out Ukraine. So turns out he's here illegally, but he's allowed to be a cop. You think that the cops did a background check, right? And they would have figured that out? Well, they did. They did know he was. Well, here's him being arrested.
So how long have you been a police officer?
Since January 8th.
January of this year?
Correct. I just finished the academy.
You just finished the academy, okay. All right.
You had to get that.
But that didn't...
Just to confirm though too, so they hired you on, you had work authorization?
Correct.
And you were able to carry a firearm?
No.
Okay.
On duty, yes. Off duty, no.
So on duty, you could carry a firearm.
State of Illinois, you need a FOID and a CCW to carry a weapon off duty.
But on duty, you could?
Correct.
Wow. You know, what's crazy about this is I don't know anything about him other than he says he loves America. The problem is he's not even a citizen. So he can't own a firearm legally in our country, but he's being given a firearm by the state of Illinois as a police officer in the state. And apparently all you have to have is work authorization in this state. That is insane. You haven't even sworn allegiance to our country yet. And yet we're giving you a firearm. Now, this guy may be a great guy, but how many others are working in our country as police officers who aren't great guys?
So just keep this in mind. A guy who's not a citizen is given a badge and a gun that he's not legally allowed to bring to his house because that's against the law, but he can have it on duty. So a guy who's not a citizen is given a badge and a gun to go arrest people who are citizens. That's got to be the craziest thing I've heard yet.
Dick Durbin's prophecy has come to pass. He said, we need them to be our cops and our soldiers and our Purdue workers.
So here, this is from the Center for Immigration Studies. They say, so this is the law. While USC 922G5A makes it a federal crime for non-immigrant overstays to possess firearms, there's a loophole in 18 USG 925A1 creates an exception for firearms that are issued for the use of any state or any department, agency, or political subdivision thereof. In other words, an illegal alien can carry a gun provided that the illegal alien does so as a law enforcement officer, but that loophole does not solely apply to illegal aliens. So that's the big loophole. So that's the thing. So you can be an illegal alien, get a job as a cop, and then carry a gun, but you're not allowed to take that gun home or buy ammunition, by the way. So here's what the Hanover Park government, which is in Illinois, this is what they said. The Hanover Park Police Department hired Officer Bojovic in January of 2025 in full compliance with federal and state law. Do people really know you're hiring people who are not citizens to arrest people who are citizens and carry a gun, even though it's illegal for them to carry a gun in their house? or when they're off duty. Do you think their citizens really are on board with that? Really? Wow.
Yes. I don't know.
Before hiring Officer Bojovic, the village confirmed that he was legally authorized by the federal government to work. So he had a work order. So he could work. So they just said, hey, let's give him a gun. At the time of his hire, Officer Bojovic presented the village with a work authorization card, which was issued by the federal government's U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services. The card was valid and recently renewed. We also conducted a full background check, including his criminal history, with both the Illinois State Police and the FBI. And so you knew he couldn't carry a gun unless he was on duty. You knew this. So they knew all this. He sounds like a character. This guy, Officer Bojovic, sounds like a character from a Tom Cruise would play in a movie. And then he pulls off his rubber mask.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be a citizen to oppress actual citizens in the United States. And I don't blame this guy. I don't blame the Bolshevik. I blame the government. So I'm just happy that his ID didn't say no name given.
Officer no name given.
Officer no name, because they are those real, Kurt?
Yes, seen those are 100% real.
I've seen with IDs that say no name given and they're an immigrant.
You would think that it would be a made up thing by some kind of crazy right winger, but no, that's a real thing they did. So that's because they did want them to vote. That's right. Here's more from the Hanover Park. The bottom line is that all information we received from the federal government indicated that Officer Bojovic is legally authorized to work in the United States. Clearly, without that authorization, the village would not have hired him. Additionally, the village has not received any notice from any federal or state agency that his work authorization status has been revoked. So they gave him you're able to work in the United States, and then the government of Hanover Park goes, well, let's make him a cop and give him a gun and have him arrest people who are citizens. Is this more or less incompetent than the superintendent, the fake superintendent, or the fake doctor that the Obama assistant hired? You know, the guy from Guyana?
Uh-huh. Yes, that's right. This is on the heels of the superintendent of schools in Des Moines, Iowa, was found out to be here illegally for decades. And he had
and armed. Hey, you have to be a cop, an illegal citizen, a cop, if you want to have a gun, pal.
So this is the rest of their statement from Hanover Park. It says, further, the village also confirmed, based on a memorandum issued, blah, 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 that this immigration status allowed him to carry a firearm while on duty, but not
the status of illegal.
But he can't bring it in. He can't put it in his car when he drives home. He can't have it at his house. He can't have it anywhere else. He can only have it when he's on duty arresting citizens.
That's fair.
Officer Bojovic has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the immigration proceedings he's now facing. If he is permitted to remain in the United States and remains legally authorized to work in this country, he will be returned to full duty status. So that's them flipping you off right in your face. Right in your face. You know what would make a great buddy, a cop movie? Team this guy up with that illegal superintendent of Des Moines.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Jimmy.
They got to solve the crime while we're running from the law. Call it 21 Jump the Fence. Or how about lethal paperwork? How about no green card for old men? I'm working on this. Come on.
Yeah.
Just so you know, that's not just in Illinois. Here's a problem that they had in Los Angeles, right here in California. Watch this.
LAPD, before they hired them, they should have known that this was going to happen.
The LAPD finds itself in a conundrum. Two of their newest recruit officers are DACA recipients, also known as Dreamers. California passed a law allowing non-citizens to become police officers. But as retired LAPD background investigator Ken Roybal explains, there is a significant federal problem with that.
They kind of back themselves into a corner because federal law dictates that the DACA recipients, although eligible to work in the United States legally or in California, they can't take their guns home, they can't possess guns, they can't buy ammo, and so they're not police officers, technically armed police officers when they go home.
Our Inside sources say the department is working to fix this problem, but they confirm the new DACA hires will only be able to have their LAPD-issued guns while at work, and they will not be able to purchase any ammunition.
If a police officer cannot take his gun home, isn't that problematic? I mean, it could be a safety issue.
It's an officer safety issue. It's a big officer safety issue because when an officer goes home, they leave a station, you drive out of the station with the identities of police officers getting out nowadays. They aren't armed and they will not be able to protect themselves even at home.
We contacted LAPD Chief Michael Moore for comment, and while he initially said he would address this issue with us, Chief Moore did not get back to us in time for the story. The LA Police Protective League chose not to comment, but LAPD Detective Jamie McBride, also an LAPPL director, issued a personal statement that says in part, "I would be very concerned with allowing non-citizens to have the ability to arrest U.S. citizens. That doesn't even sound right." And the LAPD also wants to provide firearms to these non-citizens in violation of federal law.
How do you think this is going to be resolved?
There's absolutely no way to resolve it because they're not going to change the federal laws.
So there you have it. So apparently there's not enough U.S. citizens that want to go into law enforcement in the United States. Really? So we have to get people who are not even citizens, give them a gun and a badge, and tell them to go arrest citizens. That there couldn't be anything more screwy that I've heard in a long time.
They're good if the guys who arrested that guy from ICE turn out to be illegal as well.
Ha ha ha! I wouldn't doubt that there's at least a few.
I'm sure they didn't do great vetting with the $50,000 signing bonus and anyone can apply thing. Police Academy 2 cover this.
Yeah, so they hired a lot of these ICE agents fly by night. Like they gave them $50,000 bonuses to join ICE, and lots of them were working at a TGI Fridays the night before, and then all of a sudden now. So that's what's going on. And I wouldn't doubt if some of those people were illegal immigrants. So this is great. This again just fans the flame of the people who are on board with what Trump's doing. Now, everybody I know is for legal immigration. Everybody I know is for legal immigration. Everybody. I don't know anybody who's against legal immigration. It's illegal immigration that people are against. And that's why a lot of people voted for Donald Trump, because they had a wide open border and they invited 15, 20 million people to come into our country. And we don't know who they are, where they came from, what their real names are, where they are.
Oh, also there's 300,000 missing kids that were let out of those detention centers. And any word on where they ended up?
Nobody knows where those kids are.
300,000?
So it's the people who are against illegal immigration, which everybody from Dennis Kucinich to Donald Trump is on board with that. And even Bernie Sanders used to say that before he got talking to, before he got his mind right. He was always against illegal immigration. He said it was a Koch brothers plan to suppress wages because that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So people were on board for Trump, trying to get the people that the Biden administration let flood the country. But that's actually but he's not doing it in the way we thought. You want to do that? You go to a meatpacking place and you arrest the guy who hired them. You go to a farm and you arrest the guy who hired the illegal immigrants. You go to a construction site and but that's not what they want. They want to have cheap labor here. To suppress the wages of Americans and undermine and keep people fighting against each other, poor people fighting even more desperate poor people. And they do it in such an overly aggressive way, which is what Trump and ICE are doing, to create a backlash so they can have an excuse to expand the surveillance state and build more prisons. That's what this is about, because they've deported maybe a little over 100,000 people so far. There's 20 million people were let in. So this is all just for show, and it's for show so they can ramp up their surveillance state. That's my theory, and that's why they're going to Home Depots, and that's why they're trying to grab food delivery guys on a bike. That's what this is about. If they were that's why they're deporting college students for writing an op-ed. Anyway, all right, so that's it's quite a story, and they're going to use this to divide us. And don't let them divide us over this, because that's what they've been doing for 100 years, if not more, is divide and conquer. And remember when Occupy Wall Street and the Tea Party came together to oppose the oligarchy and Wall Street. They immediately implemented identity politics. They called everything racist, sexist, homophobic. And so that was to get people hating each other again. And it worked perfectly. That's what that No Kings rally was about. The No King protest was not a protest. It was a parade because they weren't demanding anything. They don't actually want to change what the Wall Street's doing or the war machine's doing or Big Pharma is doing or a big oil. They don't want to change anything. They just want you to keep divided so then you can be controlled. Those No Kings rallies, that was astroturfed. They were paid for by billionaires, and they're there to make sure Americans hate each other instead of coming together to oppose the oligarchy. That's exactly what's happening, and so don't let it happen. People on the left, people on the right agree that we should have a strong border and we should get rid of illegal immigrants. That's what Hillary Clinton used to say. Barack Obama used to say that. Chuck Schumer used to say that. Bill Clinton used to say that. If you're here illegally and you committed a crime, you're gone. And if you're here illegally, you have to take all these steps to make sure that you could be here. And they used to all say that. They all stopped saying it. You know when? When Donald Trump became president, so they could paint him as a racist, even though Donald Trump was saying and doing exactly what Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton had been saying for decades. And America fell for it, and now they hate each other.
As usual.
As usual. Come see us in Australia. Second show's added in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. We'll see you in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Plus, January 11th, we're going to be in Waikiki at the Blue Note. Tickets not available yet for them, but go to jimmydore.com for a link for all the other tickets.